Veilwalker by Andrew Hawnt. We are not like the others here. We are Veilwalkers, tasked with protecting the weakest parts of reality. We are called by wraiths beyond the physical realms to the locations in time and space that we have needed when there is a risk to the multiversal continuum. My name is Paige. I was born Fae, but as most of my Veilwalker duties focus on Earth and the human cities, I've taken the form of a human woman. I've seen many ages there, fought through wars alongside humans good and bad, protected the Veil from attack on many occasions, and I've seen many lovers die. I am here in the time designated 2020, sent by my Wraith guide to seal a potential breach in the Veil which has been caused by an intruder from another realm. I did not expect that intruder to be one of our own. Nottingham city centre was heavy with rain that night, the streets shimmering with streetlights reflected in the rivers of rainwater. The city was still beautiful, an amalgam of old-fashioned and contemporary architecture that for once did not clash against one another, a rarity in a British city. The centre was overlooked by the ominous form of Nottingham Castle, which was lit from below and acted like a beacon in the darkness. It wasn't the castle I had to go to that night. It was the caves beneath the city. While the city above ground is vibrant, the labyrinth beneath it is like visiting another world. The scrying gem set into my wrist guard, the only thing I wear that gives away my true nature, began to throb with the rhythmic purple light of an alert. The objective was close. I pulled the cylinder of finely etched steel from its sheath inside my jacket and twisted it in both fists. My Veilwalker blade sprang forth from the hilt, becoming solid and bathing me in the soft blue glow of its alien steel. He didn't notice me at first. The anomaly yawned before him, and he conjured sigils in the air to stretch it further. The symbols coalesced to form glowing lights that danced from his fingers. He was clearly skilled in the dark arts of manipulating the veil. As the anomaly moved, its edges clawing at the air, I could see that he was absorbing the strange forces that moved within it. He was stealing veil energy to feed his own power. I should have taken his head off there and then, but I hesitated. That was a mistake. Paige, I'm disappointed. That voice froze my heart. Dalton, I said, forcing emotion out of my voice. It wasn't easy. He turned and I saw the full extent of the veil on his body. His shirt was open, and the musculature that I had known every inch of was visible, but it was different. The veins stood out from the skin, pulsing like worms. His skin was multiple colours, turquoise mixing into orange and sickly greens, like a patchwork of bruises. His eyes swirled with the colours of the veil itself. He was addicted. He had reached for his own blade, and its length erupted into shimmering life before me. The steel gave off a green pulse. Even its steel had been perverted by the warp beyond this realm. I understand now, I heard myself say. Why you left. I know you wanted more of the veil. Not this. Is this really all that matters to you? What else is there? Came his blunt reply. What does the physical world matter? What do people matter? What does matter itself matter? We have the ability to ascend the veil. I know you felt it, Paige. I know you use your power sometimes to create wings, fly amongst the clouds as you did when you were full Fae. Feels good, doesn't it? To be the gods we were meant to be. Not gods, Dalton, but soldiers. We're supposed to do the duty that goes with our gifts. Dalton grinned. March on, brave soldier. March for your god. He attacked me, and I had no choice but to fight back. The caves rang out with the sound of steel against steel. He laughed, and as he did so, the anomaly did as well. It cracked and shook and toothed his mouth, its throat an abyss of madness physical forms could never deal with. Stop this! I can help you! I can seal the anomaly together and get you clean! He thrashed at me with his sword, and it took all of my strength to hold him back. The veil had pushed his body into new realms of power. If the hole wasn't closed soon, it would consume the city above. I thought of those streets, watched over by their castle, the grand town hall in the centre of the city's core, and stone lions forever keeping guard. I thought of the people who would be ripped away from life. I pushed with everything I had, and Dalton was sent tumbling through the gaping maw of the hole. He screamed in rage as he fell into what would be oblivion. I called the sigils of closure up in my mind, my scrying gem humming with light as I did so. I had to make things safe again. Before I could, a sickeningly elongated arm burst forth from the Veil portal. Dalton's horrifying limb was a twisted mass of bones, bulbous growths and sinew. Teeth lined the knuckles that had sprouted in the wrong places. Eyes opened along its fleshy stalk, their pupils also lined with tiny teeth. Veins slithered around me before the jagged, angular fingers also found me. Dalton dragged me into the abyss. My sword fell from my hand as I tried to fight against being pulled through into the veil itself, but Dalton's supercharged, void-warped form was far too strong. I saw what the veil was doing to my former lover now he was fully immersed. I saw a thing of nightmares, a thing that was wrong, a thing that should never exist. Within moments, the gargantuan force of it would take me as well. Instead of binding sigils, I called upon my original form. The power of the veil sang back to me, and silver wings burst forth from my back. Fey wings may be thin, shimmering things, but by the hidden gods they are strong. Their force wrenched me free of Dalton's slimy grip, and I flew, a moment of perfect flight, where there was no sky above me, no ground below, just the veil and its children. I hit the ground in the cave hard, but had to right myself. I pulled myself upright as the wings fell away in glittering shards. In the distance of the veil, I saw the monstrosity that I had loved, hurtling towards me again, giant, seething, clawed and insane. Sigils were drawn in the air with speed, my fingers calling forth their forms in lines of purple light. The symbols turned, locked into each other and became a new form, the binding. It spread over the opening and sealed it. I could still hear Dalton's screams as it vanished. I fell to the ground, exhausted, and listened to my breathing as I stared at the cave roof. Minutes passed. I called to my wraith guide. Veil. It's cracking. Then we will fight harder to protect it, came the reply from across realms. I pulled myself to my feet, sheathed my sword back in its casing, and twisted the beacon on the side of my wrist guard. It sent my multiversal coordinates to my guide, and she would send me where I needed to be. There was work to do. Where next? I asked.